Okay, so it seems like there's been a little bit of a situation going on with a VTuber called Bariloaf. Now, this has been pretty insane to the point where I had to, come back and make a video on this. But essentially, it's to do with a lot of stuff over at NIJISANJI, which, if you don't know, NIJISANJI's been a pretty big hellhole in the first place. Like, let's be real, there's been so many issues and so many kind of mismanagements of the company. I mean, we talked about Astro Arcadia and everything that went on there, but there has been even more that has come out, and this is coming from Bariloaf. Now, we're going to go through obviously what this is about, what she essentially is talking about, what is kind of accused, who's being accused, and also the person's response to this, which literally came out about 20 minutes ago. So again, let's go through this. First of all is this video. Essentially, they said a former corporate VTuber doxed me, which is pretty insane. Obviously, that's a very insane accusation to kind of throw at someone. And yeah, they essentially talk for about 4 minutes. Obviously, this is a little bit of it.
My name is Bari. Some of you may know me by my former name, Rin. I'm sharing this statement to document my personal experiences.
So yeah, obviously, she used to be Rin over at NIJISANJI, and essentially she talks about her experiences with a VTuber who you guys know now as MarieFD, but obviously she used to be Reimu, who, Mari recently actually debuted, and it was very, very successful. A lot of people were very happy to see her in the space, right? And well, yeah, this came out, and a lot of people have been talking about this over at Kurosanji, and obviously some people have given us a TLDR of this, essentially saying that MarieFD is accused as a harasser, doxing occurred, personal relationships inside NIJISANJI were a mess. She essentially goes to talk about like this situation where she was with another member at NIJISANJI, and then I think they broke up or something like that along those lines, and then she went after another person who was Bariloaf's partner, and apparently she threw herself onto her like on a chair to the point where it almost fell over. Again, it's pretty insane. And obviously they also talk about NIJISANJI. Classic NIJISANJI apparently didn't do anything about it, like a lot of the complaints, right? They're saying the company did next to nothing, and she got new models, new everything, and continued as usual, even after reporting it. They said, assuming everything said here can be verified, PS, who are the male livers involved? People saying, based on the date mentioned and physical health, the only other guy who graduated, it would be Ike, which raises more questions than it does answers. I didn't watch Ike, but did he and Reimu ever really engage in the shipping behavior that was described? I know Vox and Reimu did, and almost everyone believed that they were an alleged couple who had a bad breakup when rumors of employee relationships last sprung up, which, yeah, a lot of people have been speculating it's to do with Vox and also to do with Ike as well, who obviously Ike left a couple of months ago. So again, it's going to be interesting to see if anything else kind of comes from that or not. But essentially, MarieFD did respond to this because, again, she also goes into the fact that, yeah, doxing occurred and things, and that was the main reason why she went to NIJISANJI to tell them, hey, something is really going on here. But again, they did nothing. Obviously, yeah, she says, thank you for being kind to give me a bit of time to reply and give me a context, give context on what actually happened recently. I'm sorry if it ended up being so long. I'm not used to writing these things, and I never saw myself having to write one. And obviously, this is a Google Doc. It's a 14-page Google Doc where she essentially says, hello, everyone. I never thought I'd have to be writing a document on any situation at all in my life, but due to some misinformation being spread publicly and my name being used in these declarations, I have no other choice but to write this. They said, I know how the community feels about documents and airing private matters. This is the main reason as to why I didn't even want to write this one from the start. I believe the situation was a private matter between individuals that had already been discussed and resolved in private. However, in fairness to everyone involved, I believe it's important for my side of the story to be available as well, so that people can have a complete picture of what truly happened. Due to signed NDAs, I cannot share all screenshots or specific work-related details, but all relevant information has already been provided to both my legal counsel and my previous workplace. So there has been like some legal action that has been going on behind the scenes there. Obviously, they say, I'll try to keep this document as short as possible and clear as possible again, because I know how this goes. They said, in 2022, it was claimed that I entered a romantic relationship with an individual that ended poorly. I still don't know the relevance of my personal romantic life since it wasn't brought up in the rest of Barry's statement, and me having to clear this section out seems a bit as a painted me about me as much as possible. Rumors about my personal relationships are inaccurate. None of my past relationships have ended poorly. The few I've been in the past ended with two adults mutually agreeing to stop dating and communication slowly decreasing for obvious reasons. They said, Sometimes after she developed a close relationship with another colleague who is my long-term partner. From my understanding, I think Bari meant friendship and not relationship in this matter. I've been friends with her past partner for years before working under a corporation. I've been singing with him in different projects like my birthday celebration song and also world collaborations. So again, she even provides little links and stuff to all of this stuff which she has been working on with them. And yeah, here is one of these songs that apparently they'd worked on it. And again, I mean, that's pretty cool. They say, and we had lots of mutual friends and group friends. All of these were released 9 years ago. I bring up these two collaborations to show what point we actually started collaborating publicly, even though we were not close friends. That I've known this person for more than 9 years, and I've talked with my friend, my friend and him in Discord calls for more than 9 years ago, and kept on collaborating with him up to the point where we were excited when we found out we also ended up in the same company. So they have a long history together, right? I said all this is to correct the timeline presented on the video. I had known and talked to them, years before Bari and him started relationships. So yeah, they were all known to each other, right? Said, and years before I entered a romantic relationship. It said back in 2022, December, was on a private overseas trip with some girlfriends so I could relax from work, and which ended up aligning with a lot of other personal trips and work trips. One of them was Bari and her boyfriend's trip. They were not in the Discord group chat of my trip where we would share where to go, when to go, but my friends and them all decided to meet up for one night for a nice dinner. Main reason why her boyfriend was feeling upset about the whole trip with her, we all drank alcohol, but I didn't drink to the point of getting drunk. This incident ends up being a he said, she said, but the whole group, which was made of around 10 people or more in total, counting her, her boyfriend, me, my friends, and other colleagues were there to witness this. The incident she describes where I threw myself onto him was indeed a hug I gave her boyfriend while we were both sitting down. She felt uncomfortable with it, and her past boyfriend notified me of that, so I apologized to both parties. Even if I found it shocking, since I didn't think a hug would have had that kind of reaction. So again, it just seems like one of these situations where she was a little bit too touchy and the girlfriend wasn't very comfortable with that. Obviously, Bari wasn't too comfortable with that, right? And she just kind of overstepped her boundaries and said sorry. And I mean, I don't think that's much of a big deal, right? I said, that was my first and last time I met them in Japan due to my friends having a different schedule. Her ex-boyfriend notified me about 5 months after the trip that had ended due to him not liking the confrontation, which I completely understood. All of it was discussed in DMs, the ones shown in the video. But also during a Discord call with one of my friends, I had gone to Japan with a couple of months after I apologized and things were cleared out of context. The call as well happened months after to give her more peace of mind. In the call, my friend told her how nobody had seen nothing more than just a hug, and it was supposed to be, we all heard her, and even though her boyfriend did not say anything in the call, it was meant for her mostly to tell me how she felt. So obviously here is all the screenshots that they have here kind of backing that up. That in the call she told me her boundaries, which I fully respected. She thanked me for not to talk with him one-on-one. So yeah, not to talk with him one-on-one. She said it made her uncomfortable and even hurt her when I knew I was in a group call with him and multiple people. She told me that shipping art were both retweeting made her uncomfortable, so we both stopped. Even after this call, she kept on DMing me about it, asking me why I was talking with him publicly on Twitter, why he was answering to my tweets but not replying to her DMs, why we were friends, if we were truly friends or something else. So again, it seems like there was a little bit of just like kind of miscommunication and stuff in terms of the relationship and her kind of involvement with that. I said, I'm not including any screenshots from any of my friends that had more context regarding her attitude as requested, and also due to the fact that many of those Discord groups were made back in 2019 to 2020 no longer exist. Said, to respect the relationship, I'll only disclose as much of any problems. She told me how her relationship had started, the baggage it carried, and she called her boyfriend's history with relationships, which made her even more insecure with all of this matter. So again, she obviously kind of talked to her about like some of her issues with the relationship. Again, I think a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. I think she has a lot of kind of, problems whenever it comes to relationships from past things, whatever, which is totally fine. You can have that. But it's just one of these things that kind of clarifies what is really going on. So conversations like these, I apologize for making the document long, would happen again and again and again with the same pattern. She would show me a tweet where I was wishing her ex-partner good luck with work, and she'd ask me why she wasn't answering. I said after a while things started to feel overwhelming, so I reached out to my friends for advice. That's when I learned the kind of situation that happened before. She apparently had a tendency to fixate on someone when she was feeling insecure, and it often led to similar issues in her past relationship. relationships. I asked her about work friends about her. They helped me set up a call, and they'd always been friends. One situation they described was the last drop in the glass. Her boyfriend had tweeted that he didn't want to stream today. I replied with a simple stream on public. I showed the tweet in my conversation, asking him I didn't know what else to do because she was arguing to me about this small interaction, saying his reply, you dummy, sounded flirty towards me, and she wanted to reassure her that I was not flirting back. After I knew all about this from different friends and our mutual ones, I realized I was emotionally tired and viewed all of this as harassment. Not the call, not the first approach where we had all talked and set boundaries, but the ongoing communication with her where I had explained every single thing. I did also explain what her boyfriend was doing in the company. He was working at whenever we could collab to calm her down, since he wouldn't tell her. In the end, I decided to step away once and for all and just cut my interactions with the both of them. I communicated this to her boyfriend before making such a decision. So yeah, this is all of the kind of evidence behind that too. Obviously, then she goes on to the doxing. So for some reason, it is heavily implied in the video that I doxed her and shared her private information. While I was venting to my friends privately out of stress, I made a single post on a locked personal account, now inactive, was created back in 2016 when I was a minor and had just started singing online. That had a fewer than 10 friends, one of them being multiple private accounts for art, for NSFWR, and other personal life. One was my big sister, actual real sister, while others were friends that knew about the relationship or even mutual friends I have with Bari. Unfortunately, the mutual friend took a screenshot which was shown to Bari. Ex-girlfriend is effing Menhara, help. This was it. No other information of hers was revealed to any of my friends, my previous working place, or outside of the or the outside of the world. My real family between 2016 and 2020, due to my private locked account they said I deleted several stuff along with all of that kind of stuff regarding my real family in 2016, 2020, and also just outgrowing the situation and thinking there was no need to use such an account anymore. I've moved on. I have no knowledge of people close to me sending her death threats, and I never did. This situation was never made public, which shocks me. So again, she doesn't know anything about the death threats. It seems like she was venting about stuff, with friends on a private account. But again, obviously it's not great, but at the same time, I don't think it's crazy. I think that, it is bad, but, if she can own up to that and be like, hey, I'm sorry about that, I think that's totally fine, right? And obviously, yeah, it depends on the circumstances. It was a while ago too. You got to kind of think about it. Again, it's all up to you guys to kind of decide on this kind of stuff. They say, moving on to the NDA territory, company matters. Well, I can't disclose things such as meetings with who. A general NDA only gives me freedom to retell my feelings through a process, but not disclose such process. I followed internal procedures to report a situation that I experienced as harassment. All relevant information was viewed at the time. I received an apology, and that matter was resolved. Out of respect for confidentiality, I can't share the materials or identify anyone involved, but the appropriate departments were informed and the issue was closed. They have also been informed today about this due to recent inaccuracies in public statements. So my decision to leave graduate was not related to this incident. I've been considering graduating since early 2025. So again, it seems like she just graduated on her own terms rather than obviously a lot of the problems that they were having. So this was my last interaction with her years before I'd even taken the decision to graduate. So again, yeah, she was having her final conversation and it had been a little while. Also sorry about that. So yeah. So I've been constantly harassed in the past while doing online activities. I received death threats and I've dealt with the stress of public when stuff happens. Nevertheless, I've been in favor of it, and I've always spoken out when allowed to if I don't have an NDA against it, which is why I'm terrified that it's being implied that there's constant harassment and death threats, I think I'm supposed to say, being sent to Bari from 2022 since the incident happened. I haven't been in contact with her at all. Today I contacted my friends. Again, I have no knowledge of any party sending death threats. Friends notified me of what's happening. I apologize for making this document so long. A lot of this had constant scrutiny. I don't wish for it to happen all again and a matter of such. I wish no hate and misinformation keeps on being spread. Many people don't wish to speak up out of fear because this was a private matter and there was NDA signed. Thank you for reading up until here and understanding. So yeah, that is essentially what Marie had to say. I think it's pretty interesting. Obviously, we're gonna have to see if there's anything else that comes out, but I think it's one of these cases where you kind of got to decide for yourself whether you agree with one or another, whether you believe Marie and what she's saying, or whether you believe Bariloaf. I feel like she's added a lot of context here. Obviously, it seems like there was a small situation of doxing, maybe not as big as maybe it seemed like on the video, but it still did happen, which I think is important to kind of, see there. But yeah, I mean, that is the entire situation, obviously, with the reply. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, whether, you have any ideas on what you think about it, because again, I'm very interested in what all of you guys have to say about it. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, go to GameSups, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff. And yeah, sorry for the scuffed setup again, because again, all of this is very, very weird, and this literally just happened. But yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.